Oh God, I remember. What year did Chris transition?
2014, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is a very disturbing phase.
Yeah, that's what I want to like. What
Disturbing
led? Like
phase.
what led to the?
There's a lot of
transition, I guess.
stuff that Chris does, and later Christine.
Oh.
They're very like worrying, I'd say.
Right.
Well, that happened a lot.
What's the line of worrying?
Yeah. I've already heard a lot of
Happened a lot
boring
later.
things this episode.
So how did it start? We know that. How did all of it begin with Chris?
The transitioning.
Yeah.
Chris very early on exhibited some interest in being a female. Like for example, writing on public posts in a troll created forum, which was made to appear like a fan site for Chris Jen, but they're all just trolls.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Chris said that sometimes they thought that maybe life would have been better if they were born as a female, but since I was born since like God delivered this package, I must like feel it. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
Chris sounded a lot more poetic than I do.
Yeah. Well, of course.
But
Very
yeah,
poetic.
then Chris started leaking some. Chris was sending nude photos to other girlfriends,
As you do.
which I featured Chris trying on their mother's underwear bra as well.
Right.
So that was worrying as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, another girlfriend convinced Chris that maybe they would feel better jogging because they were very self-conscious about their man boobs bouncing around. So she suggested maybe Chris should wear a sports bra. And then Chris discovered that they really liked the feeling of a sports bra, and pretty much never took it off after that point, honestly, until they transitioned and started wearing women's underwear full time.
Right.
It's like some people suggest that maybe Chris was influenced by trolls saying some quotes exactly that Chris was convinced to become a female to explore their feminine side.
Right.
This is questionable. No one's really sure how this happened. But Chris started first identifying as like a lesbian soul in male body, something like that.
Okay.
Right.
I'm not very well educated on this stuff. It's very.
Yes.
I try to, but it's quite a lot of information.
Yeah. And after about another half a year or so, they fully embraced the identity of the new name, Christine, and changed their gender officially, even on their driver's license. So it's quite legit at this point.
Yeah.
And they do use gender transitioning medication as well.
Okay.
So,
Right.
yeah.
I say concerning because during the first phase, it was very much a DIY transition.
That wasn't the first phase, actually. That was
it
like,
not?
That was quite a bit after.
Oh,
that.
was it? Oh,
yeah.
I felt like that because that was what stuck out to me.
What goes before DIY?
Well, so
Well, Chris decided to expedite matters by listening to binaural beats on YouTube.
what is binaural beats?
Binaural
I still don't
beats-
know what that is.
Binaural beats is a type of like a humming noise that's supposed to influence the way your mind works and kind of change you in a certain way. Like for example,
It uses like a certain frequency, I
Yeah.
believe, that it almost acts as like a type of hypnosis
Right.
of sorts.
Is it a load of? Is it bullshit? Is it?
There is actually science behind
Is this a well-known thing? This is the first I'm hearing of this.
No, this is very much like a music, like.
Is it really a real
type
thing?
of thing.
I mean-
there is some science behind it, but the whole thing of like hypnosis and stuff like that is very debatable.
Yeah.
I mean, binaural beats making you like feel uncomfortable or comfortable. Yeah, I can see that happening, but changing you from male organs to female sexual organs, then
Right.
Yeah.
Chris was trying.
Yeah.
Chris was trying to grow boobs.
boobs, and then Chris was actually going to the actual channel of these binaural beats and asking the uploader, will this binaural beats video cause my testicles to develop into ovaries, or will they make another video about that, or stuff like
answer
that?
no.
That's very sad because in some aspects this is where other aspects of the internet failed Chris, right? Like this is a predatory thing to, and I don't know if they encouraged or they said that you'll grow boobs from listening to this beat.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. But it
Yeah.
also, when you're desperate enough, as I imagine Chris was at the time, you'd be willing to believe it.
I mean, I'm sure Chris has fallen for more obvious stuff with because this was after the trolling phase,
Right.
right?
Right. And didn't Chris end up in hospital for trying to? So this is a very disturbing thing. They believed that the opposite sex organs were inside. All they had to do was cut it open. And they did indeed do that, right? And they ended up in hospital.
What they cut was the space in between the
douche, right?
I believe that's
I believe that's a way to call it. Yes.
I think it's called the gooch.
I think it's called the gooch. Yeah.
Oh, it was
The
douche.
gooch?
The gooch. Sorry.
Skin between the balls and the butt, right?
Yeah, they cut
Right,
it.
that one.
Pretty deep cut, right?
They cut.
Perineum?
The
perineum.
perineum.
I don't fucking know.
There's lots of words
I'm
for
not
it.
educated on this. I don't touch that place often.
It is the perineum, also called the taint.
The taint.
Oh,
yeah.
The taint. So that's the space between the hole and.
I'm so sorry,
sack?
viewers. I'm so sorry.
We're
So-
using scientific terms here.
Yeah. Chris believed that in this space was where their labia would be if they were born as a woman.
So they
So they cut it open and
Oh.
posted photos.
they posted photos.
Oh yes.
What?
Wait, of after the act? Like after they cut
What?
it?
It must look like a crime scene.
Jesus.
Looks fine to me. I don't know.
You poor man.
Gino's like, I've seen worse.
I can't tell if Gino, if you've been broken by all of this. You've been so numb to it for so long.
Like a war veteran now.
Yeah.
It's like this doesn't
Murder.
even faze me
Do you know
anymore.
what sound a man makes when they die? I do, and I like it. They went to hospital for it, right?
They were very reluctant to go to the hospital because they
They were
thought
infected, right?
It could have been.
It was
It
left
could have
They
been
could've died,
lethal.
honestly.
infected.
Yeah.
From what I understand, it was very worrying.
It could have like.
Yeah, no shit.
They could like cause like abscess or something, and
Yeah.
then died from it eventually. But yeah, eventually trolls convinced Chris to go to the hospital and get it checked.
Oh,
Right.
the trolls convinced Chris to
Right.
go to the hospital.
Which is weird because then later on, I'd say from this point onwards is where it used to be like kind of like a almost torture hostage situation.
Yeah.
Where it was like, I want to torture you, but I want to keep you alive.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the trolls, and I believe especially what happened later on as the founding member of the Kiwi Farms,
Right.
often would financially look after Chris and would help
Yes.
manage Chris's finances.
Right. That,
They
wasn't there like later there was like a group of people, right?
People
who
would
were,
often they did a GoFundMe correct after
were they called
something
the
after
Watchmen or something? Was that what they called?
The Watchman is a different thing.
Oh, okay, that's a different thing.
This is insane. So these people who had originally were trolling Chris ended up then
Supporting him.
supporting Chris and almost being protective of who can have contact with
Right.
Chris, right?
Yes, they were. Yeah.
It's weird, right? Because it feels like a hostage thing. Where it's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to feed you food and take care of you, but you're still my hostage.
Right.
And I
like
won't
the
let you.
weirdest cult I've ever heard.
It's
of.
very strange.
Yeah. The thing is after Chris's father died, the main trolls behind all that kind of stopped their trolling and then moved on to Kiwi Farms just like as an observation kind of thing and looking after
Right,
Chris.
right,
But
right.
like the other trolling that happened after that point was made by other people, which were not affiliated really with the original core.
Which
of
is
the
then there's like
trolls.
tons of different factions of
Right.
people who are obsessed with
Yeah.
with
So
Chris.
who are the